So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is a C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 51 and in this video we continue with our exercise. So, we have to calculate now this price anyhow, and actually we have different options. Why? Because we can use here a while loop, a for loop, and even other things, even a switch. I'm not so sure. In this case, probably a switch to, not sure, but I'm absolutely sure that we can use a for loop and a while loop and even a do while loop in this case, because we will have 10 elements. So you have here many options. I choose first the for loop and later in other places perhaps another loop, because we repeat also here a little bit and explain what we are going to do. So for loop, how we make a for loop? Very easy, for keyword, and then we have this round brackets and we write there three things in. What are these things? So we have a semicolon here, a semicolon, and then we have to start with what? With and start point. And how we define a start point? It was all time a number, a 0, in this case int I equal to 0. That was all time our start number. Then in the second place we define the end number. What was it? In our case we have to think here a little bit. Why? Because we have to watch how many elements we want. In this case, very simple, 10 elements. So I write here the endpoint, and actually I can't write here 10 because I have to write it as a comparison. For example, as long as I is less than 10, this for loop should loop. But one more question, why is this a 10 and not equal? I mean, why is this a less and not equal to 10? The reason is we start with 0. Okay, that makes sense. But another question, why we start with 0 not with 1? That's a very important question here, because we are using arrays, and arrays start with 0, and we will use later in our loop this array, so we need the slot 0. And when we have here I0 and this array slot, we can use this variable. That sounds really confusing, I think, but actually it means just the array starts with 0. That's why we won't start with 0 too. That's the simple explanation, but you will see in a moment what I mean with that. And then let's increment it. And we learned also how to increment it. We learned this shortcut ++i, which means it will add it 1 to the variable. It will increment by 1. So then we have our body for our loop. This was all time this curly braces, and here is that what we have to do. And what we have to do, actually, we want to calculate the prices. How we calculate the prices? We just take this array, the first element, then we multiply it with the amount with the first element, and then we assign this to our new created array in the first slot. And the nice thing is, all time slot 0, and here also slot 0. And that's why we started with 0, because I can use this I as the slot variable. And let me show you what I mean with that. First of all, I want to assign to this array the prices, right? So I write calculated prices. It was there. Then I have use here this array operator, and then I have to say which slot. Normally you would say 0, right? But we can't use that because we use a for loop. We use the variable, which will go from 0 to 9 in this case, and that's why I use here just I, and that's why it's perfect. It started with 0 because the array will be array starts also with 0. So that's very important. That makes sometimes problems for starters because it starts with 0 and not with 1. But we have to learn this. This is, that's why we train this here. And then we have it very easy, because now I can just take this variable array, I copy this variable, which is an array. This is the array indicator. And here I use also the slot parameter I, and then I just write here the multiplicate operator, just multiply with our product sold amount. So I can copy this one as well. Perfect. And here I use also I, and that's actually it. And that is fantastic because it's so easy actually. Why? Because we are just multiplying here this slots and then assigning it to this slot. Yeah, that's it already. We are already almost finished. But important here perhaps is also to do one more thing. We want seed. Then there are different ways to see it. For example, you can just start to test your code. That's very important. You have to test your code all time, like I said, not at the end, all time in the middle. But here we have a problem, right? We don't see here any output. But the good news is the code seems to be okay, but sometimes even it says here 0, it is not okay. So we can do one more step. We can put here the debug again and check a little bit more. And then we have here the debug is jumping to this start place. We are in this one, and yeah, we are looping. And instead of using this step over, which you can do, and now it's in here, the I, it's in round 1. When I go here a little bit more, round 2, and instead of using this step over, you can use step out, and then it's faster. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, and now I'm in round 9, which means I'm in the last round. And now you can see here calculated price variable here, actually the values, or another way, you hover over with your mouse over the variable name, click here perhaps the drop down and read it here a little bit more easy. That's also another way, one way, but there is another way. Perhaps you don't want to see it here and all time use the debug. What you can do, of course, is you stop here and write a developer code. Developer code means only for development, just for you to test this code, to see this code, to visualize this code, and so on. Then you can here write a comment, development check, something like that, which means later you should delete this code or uncomment this code. And then you can say something here as it is, see out, and then we write here perhaps a new line every time, here a new line. And then of course you should make here the brackets, and here we print out this one because this is our goal, to make it on the screen. And now we have visualized this also, and then when we start this one, then we see, yes, it is visualized, but you see the formatting is a little bit strange, but whatever, it's okay. Later we have to format it so that this is one column, right? Which means just we have here add some spaces, and then the other one should be in front, the other one here in front, and of course in the same line too. But this is just playing around with formatting, but we do this later after we finished here our main steps. And I think with that said, let's see, I'm almost finished here. And here it says I want print all the arrays as a table. All right, I want as a table. Yes, actually we are at this point where we want print all these arrays as a table now, which means we can use this for loop again if we are lazy and add them to the other ones here. But we have a problem. How we are printing them side by side, and so that can cause a little bit of problem. And yeah, I think that is again a good place to stop here. And in the next video, I will continue, but perhaps I will not even use a for loop because I want to train also a little bit the while loop and yeah, other structures which we learned here and so on. So see you in the next video, and yeah, good luck. Bye.